I am not an aircraft engineer, but they said airplanes are designed not to fail, that when they do, it is due to human error. So is the Forex market. The Forex market is designed to make us money consistently, but human factors such as greed, lack of skill, impatience, poor risk management, poor psychology, the list goes on and on, keeps over 90% of traders unprofitable in the market. But one trader I know 100% is myself. I know I am not among the 90% of traders that lose money. And that is why I try to come here every weekend to show you my projections for the next trading week. So sit back and relax because I got you. So we are going to kick off this week's analysis looking at the fundamentals. First of all, on Friday, the NFP numbers came out and it was positive. Yet we still experienced a weak dollar due to the fact that some technical levels needed to be fulfilled before price moves. Now we have CPI on Wednesday for the next trading week. If the CPI numbers come out positive, then we are going to start seeing a strong US dollar. But all eyes are on the CPI news events on Wednesday, the 10th of May, 2023. So now that we've seen what is happening on the fundamentals, let's go to our chart. Let's go look at some technical analysis. As you can see, this is the weekly time frame, and you can see we closed with a bearish engulfing candle for last week. So what does this tell us? We should be expecting a continuous drop for next week. However, if we go to the daily time frame, there's a trend line. Price is sitting comfortably on that trend line. Now, if we break below that trend line, then I'll expect price to come down to this level. And if we break above this trend line, just like I've been saying for the past couple of weeks, if you have been watching my videos, if price breaks above this trend line, then we are going to start seeing some bullish price action on the US dollar. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, for the first time in a long time, I think since the 14th of April 2023, that was last month, price has been ranging within this zone, going up and down without any significant move up or down. So this is the first time we are trading below this support level here. But like I said, from the daily time frame, price is sitting comfortably on this particular trend line here. So for next week, if we actually take out this trend line, then I'll be expecting price to drop all the way down to this zone. So I hope to see this happen maybe before the NFP release, because if price is around here when the NFP numbers come out by Wednesday, then I'll be predicting a bullish dollar, all right, because this is a strong demand zone on the 4-hour time. Now let's go look at some USD pairs. But before we do that, guys, if you are new to this channel and you are yet to subscribe, please do so now. And also like this video as it helps it go viral. Now, starting from the weekly time frame on GBPUSD, if you've been following my videos, you'll notice that I've been looking at this trend line as my initial take profit area, right? And as you can see, we are already trading around that trend line. Though we've not touched the trend line yet, but we are trading around that resistance zone. This particular resistance zone, if I zoom out, you can see price has tested that zone multiple times before, so price is back in that zone. So I'll be expecting price to finally come into that trend line, and two things may happen. We will either break above, which will signify continuous bullish trend, but we will most likely see a rejection, right? And when that rejection happens, what does that provide us as a trader? It provides us with a trading opportunity. So I'll be looking at this trend line come next week. And like I said when I was talking about the dollar index, if price is around this trend line, let me say below this trend line, but must have touched the trend line before the CPI news release, then I'll be expecting a positive CPI to push price lower. But if the CPI numbers come out negative, then I'll be expecting price to blast above this trend line, which will take us all the way to the upside. Now let's see what is happening on the daily time frame. Like the weekly time frame, you can see the daily time frame is almost at the trend line as we speak, and you can see the trend we are creating new higher highs and higher lows, right? Then if we go to the 4-hour time frame, on the 4-hour time frame, I remember telling you guys, if you are on the Telegram channel, you remember me telling you guys to look for buying opportunities only on this pair. And as you can see, even when the news came out and we saw this initial spike to the downside, price still went back, created a new higher high, and we are approaching that our initial take profit target, as you can see this particular trend line. So for next week, I'll be expecting price to do two things: either come into this trend line then give us a rejection, I will start pushing to the downside. Or for price to take out this trend line properly, then come back for a retest for us to buy to the upside. Now let's look at NZDUSD. NZDUSD, let's look at the weekly time frame. You can see we close with a strong bullish momentum for last week, leaving us with something like a potential double bottom formation. If we go to the daily time frame, on the daily time frame, we are trading at this trend line. All right, price has been collapsing between this zone to this zone, right? And we are beginning to see impulsive bullish move to the upside. Now we are trading at this trend line. So for next week, we may see price keep pushing lower, or we break above. If we break above this zone, then I'll be expecting price to come back for a retest for us to continue buying to the upside. All right, so these are the two scenarios I'm looking at. Price can easily twist and turn from here and drop all the way down, or we can also easily just break above, creating a new higher high, breaking above this previous level of structure, create a new higher high, retest. When it retests, then we'll go to the lower time frame to do what? Catch an entry and trade all the way into 0.65166. all right, so this is what I'm looking at on NZDUSD. Is there anything on the 4-hour time frame? So just like I said on the daily time frame, if we break above this level of resistance as it stands, if we break above this level of resistance, then I'll be looking for bullish opportunities to trade into this price area. But what if price decides to keep dropping all the way to the downside? Then I'll go to the 1-hour time frame. And on the 1-hour time frame, I'll plot a counter trend line. Remember, we already established from the daily time frame that we are trading at a particular trend line, right? And price may easily just keep pushing lower from there. So what I'll do on Monday or for next week, if price is to start dropping to the downside, I'll wait for price to take out this trend line. All right, I'm going to have two trend lines that I'll be looking at. I'll have another one here. All right, so if price breaks below this trend line and I feel like, okay, there's no good opportunity to sell, then I'll definitely be waiting for price to come and take out this trend line. Maybe take it out like this, give me a retest, then I'll trade all the way to the downside. I'll even put I'll put a zone here. I'll create a zone around here like this. All right, so I would like to see price come and break this trend line, break this zone, go back for a retest into the zone or the trend line for us to trade all the way to the downside. So these are the two scenarios I'm looking at on NZDUSD. Let's go to the next pair, AUDUSD. AUDUSD, let's start from the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, just like the NZDUSD, we close with a strong bullish engulfing candle, engulfing this particular bearish candle, right? And it looks like we are creating something like a potential double bottom here, as you can see. Now we've seen what is happening on the weekly time frame. Let's go to the daily time frame. The daily time frame, we've broken above this trend line, or let me say this counter trend line, and price is still pointing upward. So what do we do next week? What trading opportunity should we be looking at for next week on Aussie dollar? We should be looking for price to either take out this zone, then we'll come back for a retest, then we'll switch to the lower time frames to look for entries from this zone to trade all the way to the upside here. Let me put this zone here also. Then our profit target will be around 0.71353. So that's for the bullish side of things. So what if we are to go bearish? Then I will expect price to come into this resistance level and then give us a bearish push to the downside here. This is my buy and sell scenario. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, you can see how we took out that trend line. Let me zoom in properly so that we can see. We took out this trend line, then we came back to retest it, and now we are pointing upward. I mean, after the retest, we close with a strong bullish engulfing candle. So for the beginning of next week, I'll be expecting price to keep trading into this resistance zone. So like I said, when I was analyzing the daily time frame, I'll be expecting price to come here to give us a rejection or go bullish. Let me even just map it out so that you can see. So if we are to keep going bullish, then I'd like to see price take out this resistance zone, come back for a retest, then I'll trade all the way to the upside here, with this zone being my take profit area. Now let's look at the bearish side of things. Let's assume price comes into this zone and rejects it and start pushing lower, just like I did on the 1 hour time frame. I'm going to plot a counter trend line, right? Let me see how many counter trend line I can plot here. I'm going to do this. Then I would like to see price come into this zone, maybe bounce off, come back into this zone before coming to break below this zone, right? Break below the trend line and below this market structure here. Then I would like to see some kind of a pullback and start looking for short opportunities to trade all the way to the downside. So this is my bullish and bearish analysis on AUDUSD. I'm going to be thinking in probabilities for next week, and so should you. I mean, that is my advice for you guys. Let's jump onto JPY. Because JPY is giving us cleaner trends for now. Let's go to the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, just like I analyzed last week, if you watched last week's video, when price closed with this bearish candle, I said we now have a double top here, and we are going to go back for a retest. And I said it's okay if price goes back for a retest and breaks above this zone here, but I expect price to still come down and keep pushing all the way to the downside for now. And that was exactly what price did. On the daily time frame, it is clear price is creating lower lows and lower highs, which is a typical characteristics of a downtrending market. As you can see, we have a low, we have a high, then we have a lower low, we have a lower high, then we have a new lower low, and now it looks like we are creating a new lower high. And if price is to keep dropping, I mean, you can see how we closed Friday with this strong bearish momentum, this particular daily candlestick. So I'll be expecting price to keep pushing lower and give us a new lower low in the process for next week. I mean, that's what I am looking at for now on JPY index. Anyways, I don't trade the JPY index. I just use it to know what I should be expecting on the JPY pairs. So let's go to AUDJPY. AUDJPY from the weekly time frame perspective. If I zoom in properly, you can see we traded between these two trend lines, right, for quite some time, and now we've broken out of that trend line. So for next week, I'll be expecting price to keep pushing higher into 93.000 area. As you can see here, I'll be expecting price to come into that area. So if we go to the daily time frame, this is still that trend line from the weekly time frame. You can see now price broke out of that trend line. I mean, as you can see, we are creating high, higher lows, higher low. Yep, I'm correct. Higher high, higher low, a new higher high, a new higher low. So what should we be expecting? We should be expecting a new higher high into 93.0. So for next week, I'll be expecting continuous bullish price action on the Aussie Japanese yen. And as you can see, price is still pushing higher. But how do we join this trade? Let me go to the 1 hour time frame. So on the 1 hour time frame, if we are to join this trend, before I plot my trend line, you can see we just created a new higher high around here. We created a new higher high around here, taking out this market structure here. So I'll be expecting two things. First of all, let me plot my trend line. I'll plot this trend line on the 1 hour time frame. In fact, I'll be expecting one thing and one thing alone, because as you can see, if I was going to say I'll be expecting price to come into this broken zone, but as you can see, it confluences with our trend line, right? So I'll be expecting price to come into this zone, then give us a bullish continuation to the upside. But I find out that many people find this my analysis confusing sometimes, because I'm not responsible for the market movements. The big guys are, the big banks and big hedge funds are. So price can actually come and break below this trend line on Monday before we start going bullish. My point is, I am just bullish as it stands. I'm not interested in selling AUDJPY as it stands today. But if my position changes within the week, of course, I'm going to drop the updates on the Telegram channel. So if you're not on the Telegram channel, this is the link on your screen. The link is also going to be in the description of this video down below. For now, I'm bullish. So even if we break below this trend line before price starts going bullish, I am still bullish biased for now. For technical reasons, I'll be expecting price to come into this zone before we continue bullish. Now let's go to GBPJPY, starting from the weekly time frame. GBPJPY actually closed with a red candle. So does that mean we'll start going down? Well, on this weekly time frame, I can't tell, because if you look at this weekly time frame, in fact, if we go to the monthly time frame, you can see price is back at a zone that price has rejected significantly previously, right? So I can't say for now by looking at the monthly and weekly time frame. But let's go to the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, we look like we are going to come back to that zone, which is this zone. So if price is going to come back to this zone, I mean, we still have enough trading opportunity between here and here. So let's go to the lower time frame to look for trading opportunities. I actually sent out this chart on the Telegram channel where I was expecting price to come into this trend line, into this 0.6 fib level and into this support level, right? However, price didn't touch the trend line, but it did come into this 0.6 fib level and that support area, and price bounced off ever since. So I'm going to be expecting continuous bullish momentum for next week. So how do we join this trend if you are not already in this trade? All right, let's see. Do we have a trend line? Okay, there's a trend line here. Sorry guys, I'll just go ahead and delete this arrow. So there's a trend line here. See, I've captured here and here. So hopefully I'll be expecting price to come into this trend line, then give us a bullish push back into this zone. That's one area I'll be looking to go bullish. Another area is here. So I'll be waiting for price to take out this zone properly, break above this market structure. So I'll be expecting price to take it out properly, then come back for a retest. Now, price may come back into this zone for a retest before going higher, or it may try to come back into this trend line, right? After breaking above, it may still try to come into this trend line before going bullish. So this is how I'll be looking at GBPJPY for next week. Now, USDJPY, what's happening on USDJPY? USDJPY, I also sent out this chart on the Telegram channel. And as you can see, I was expecting price to come into this trend line, but instead we got into this zone that has been tested multiple times and price bounced off. So first of all, let's even look at how we closed for the week. We also closed with a bearish candlestick for the week, just like GBPJPY. So does that mean we are going to keep dropping to the downside? It is a possibility, right? It is a possibility. We can't take that away from what I am seeing in the market right now. But with what I'm seeing on JPY index, I'll still be expecting bullish continuation. USDJPY is kind of tricky at the moment, but I think I'm just going to plot a trend line here. But guys, like I said, this is tricky. We may break below this trend line and still come back and attempt this original trend line here before going bullish. Or we may come into this trend line and also go bullish. Then I'm still also going to plot this here. Then wait for price to take it out, come back for a pullback. Then I'll look for buying opportunities to the upside. So, but USDJPY is tricky. We could come into this trend line, go bullish. We could break above, come for a retest, go bullish. We could still come back to this zone to create a double bottom, maybe on the daily time frame or the 4-hour time frame before we go bullish. So I think I'm just going to be keeping a close eye on USDJPY, but I'm going to definitely give you updates on the Telegram channel as price progresses and I get to update my charts. That's one thing I want to advise you guys. Whenever you do your analysis, and first of all, you need to understand the bias of the market for you to be able to do a proper analysis, right? A bias is a bias. They call it a bias because it should be sentimental to you, right? When you have a bias, the price is going to go bullish or bearish, you need to hold on to that bias, right? And not sway away from it. So even if price tricks you, let's say you're expecting price to come into a trend line, but before bouncing higher, but instead broke below the trend line, because you have a bias that price is definitely going to go higher all you need to do is just to update your chart. Look for another area you could plot a trend line or a support or a resistance or a demand or supply zone that will align with that your initial bias. As a good trader, you should be able to know where you want to be a buyer or where you want to remain a buyer, and the zones where you want to now become a seller. So you just have to be able to do this. If not, you still have a long way in the market. As a matter of fact, if you can't do this, you need our mentorship program. Go and grab that course now. The link is in the description of this video down below. So that is that for USDJPY. I'll be sending you further updates on the Telegram channel. So I think that should be that for this week. Gold, what is happening on gold? We closed bearish on gold. Okay, sorry, we actually did close bullish on gold. But if we go to the monthly time frame, you will see that during last week, gold came to retest this monthly level that has been so difficult over the past couple of years. I mean, since August 2020, price has not been able to break above this area here. So price attempted it last week and see that massive rejection. I mean, price got burnt and it just ran away from that zone, and now we are pointing lower. So let's go to the daily time frame. Let's go back to the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, you can see how bearish we closed Friday, right? So let's go to 4 hours. On the 4-hour time frame, I remember sending out this chart on the Telegram group where I was expecting price to come into the zone before blasting higher, and price did exactly that, right? But after price came into the zone, we saw this massive rejection, created a double top, and price blasted lower. So, and now we are back to this trend line, and price is looking bullish once again. Are we going to keep going bullish? I don't know. I won't even lie to you guys. I don't know. But we may come into this zone. If we come into this zone and I see a strong rejection, then I'm going to sell. Why am I going to sell? It's simply because we've created a new low. It's simply because we've created a new lower low on the 4-hour time frame. So because of that, if price goes back to retest this place and I see a bet, I'm not just going to sell. I'll wait to see a confirmation. I want to see that commitment that price is willing to drop, and that is when I'm going to jump on the trade and sell. But when I sell, forget this my arrow, I may not hold for price to come into this zone, except maybe there's a news release and price just spikes down. All right, but if price just moves like a normal trading day, guys, I'm not going to hold to this till we get to this zone here, because gold is this super bullish, so it's dangerous to sell. All right, even if I sell here, it's going to be a counter trend trade. By counter trend trade, now I'm talking about from the higher time frame perspective, which is the best time frames to look at when trading on the lower time frames. So I think I'm just going to call it a day with these pairs. I'm going to be analyzing more pairs on the Telegram channel. So once again, the link to the Telegram channel is in the description of this video below. Do yourself a massive favor by getting any of our mentorship programs so that you can also be profitable like us. The link is in the description of this video below. And if you are not interested, it is totally fine too. Just make sure to subscribe to this channel and like our videos. And I also want to give a special shout out to everyone that likes and comments to my videos. And if you made it to the end of this video, I want to say a big thank you to you. I wish you all a successful trading week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.